I'm Rod Fergusson. I'm the executive producer of the Gears of War franchise at Epic Games. Well, Gears 2, Gears 3, basically at the end of Gears 2, you sunk Jacinto to flood the Hollow to try to kill the Locust and end the war. And from that, you've tried to eke out a life. They went off and landed on the island of Vectes and tried to carry on, if you will. And then slowly the planet's been infected by by the lambent and emulsion. And so their paradise is lost as they get overrun by stalks and polyps and stuff. And so ultimately they decide to take to the sea, that the only way to sort of live out the rest of their days is the Gears sort of band together and take over an aircraft carrier, and they head out, and the Gears 3 opens on that aircraft carrier and they get attacked. Insane is definitely insane, you know. Yeah. So it's one of those things where we don't really worry so much about balancing insane as much as can it get completed. And so as long as even one tester can make it through the game on insane, then we'll ship it. It's not about like finding that perfect balance. It's about making it as hard as possible but still doable. But whereas hardcore, you know, all the other three modes, we really focus on trying to find a balance of difficulty. Plus, you know, one of the things I tend to do, I'm not as good, so the fact that with the campaign you can actually have, in co-op, you can actually have people pick different difficulties, so you can have one player on casual, one on normal, one on hardcore, one on insane if you wanted to go that crazy. And so you tend to work as a team where I'll go in as insane and you'll go in as casual, and I'll let you go ahead and kill everything and I'll just follow behind you, you know. I think definitely Gears has a sort of a hardcore reputation from a multiplayer perspective. I mean, the true core of our hardcore are the people who wall bounce with shotguns, and they're very dominating. And that's one of the reasons we created the casual mode, is to try to give new players a place to go and learn and before they kind of encounter those players. But you know, we also have skill-based matchmaking, and so if you go play ranked, it'll actually match you up based on your skill to give you a sort of a fair fight as well. So, but we're really focused on just making Gears 3 the most accessible version. That if you're a new player and you've never played a Gears game before and you're like, okay, where do I start? From a gameplay perspective, we want you to start with 3. That all the things that, whether it be TACCOM, that can teach you where the weapons are on a map or help you find your friends, and the ability to spot enemies in the environment, to trade weapons, and you know, all those sorts of things has all been sort of tailored towards saying, okay, let's shorten the learning curve, let's get you in and playing and get you familiar with it, and that's the best way to get into the game. We go through and we look at what you played. Did you play Gears 1? Did you play Gears 2? How much of the beta did you play? And then based on that, we determine whether, the easy way to think about it is whether you're a minnow or a shark. And if you're a minnow, we want you to be able to play with other minnows. And then even as a minnow, if you get good enough to become a shark, then you can sort of move up. But it's not something you're forced to do. You can go play with the sharks if you want to. It's just that you cannot, as a shark, play with the minnows. If you never played before and you go into it, you can stay there for a long time, but it really comes down to your skill, and that's what we're trying to measure. It's not how many games you've played, but it's actually how good you are. And so you can still be a minnow, you can still be in the casual mode and being successful, but if you start dominating and where you're starting to hurt the experience of other players because they're less experienced, that's when we say, look, you know, you're good enough, it's time to move up to the big leagues.